The next dish we're going to be doing is couscous with raisins and vegetables. To start off with, we can go ahead and get our water coming up to temperature. We're actually going to plump our raisins in the water. That's going to help with eating the dish. You don't want to eat too much of a dried raisin. A little bit of texture is good, but the sweetness of the raisin really helps balance out the dish. Couscous is actually a kind of a pasta made from semolina flour. Typically in the United States, you find already couscous that's been steamed and dried, so it cooks very, very quickly. Normally it has to be steamed for hours and hours to get it done, but we're lucky to have some that's already been pre-steamed here. So to start with, we can go ahead and just add our raisins directly into the water, and we can let those start to plump. So I'm going to cut up my broccoli, and I just want some florets, so I can cut into part of it, and we can just cut from kind of the back part and cut those into smaller pieces, and then we can cut those down as we need to. Typically you're not going to use this woody part in here, at least that part. You definitely could use that if you wanted to make a cream of broccoli soup. You could cut those into smaller pieces. It's got a lot of great flavor, but really not the broccoli shape that we're looking for here. So you can cut kind of towards the back and then just break into the smaller florets. Really with this dish, you can add a lot of different ingredients to it. You can add nuts if you'd like to. You could add onions. If you want to, you could actually start by sauteing onions and then add the water on top of that. So you add a little of that fat coating as well in there, which makes for great flavor. You could also toast the nuts at that same time as well, and then remove them. Toast them separately, add them at the end. There's just a lot of different variations of the dish you can do depending on what season you're in. So once we have all of our broccoli florets cut, we can add those into our water. Just starting to come up to a simmer. And we'll just really let that cook on its own. Now the way we can tell once our broccoli is done is actually by inserting the knife in the very thickest part of the broccoli. So for now we'll just let that cook with everything else that's in there. But the couscous is actually the last ingredient we'll add and then steam it. Okay, let's go along. So our green onion, you could use any other kind of onion as well. The green onion, I'm actually going to use just the green part on this. You could definitely use the harder part and start that at the beginning. Actually, we'll go ahead and add that in now so it cooks a little bit. But the green onion is something we're going to toss in at the very end, right about the type we add in the couscous as well. So what we'll do on this is just a nice kind of biased slice. Definitely has some flavor, but also adds a nice garnish and color to the dish as well. So we can take our two onions, put them close together. And using the claw again, we just slice through. In this case, we'll stop there. That'll be our green onion for the end. And we'll go ahead and slice the rest of this to give us some nice, great onion flavor and a little bit of texture as well. And we'll just stop once we get to that root part, and we can throw that away. Or compost it, of course. So we'll add the hard part of the green onion. Go ahead and add that in now to our simmering liquid. And again, with the vegetables, we want to have them al dente. So we want the broccoli to be tender, but definitely not mushy. We're using fresh broccoli here, so we don't want to have that waste that freshness. So we're getting close here. I'm going to go ahead and test it and see how it is with the doneness. So again, I can just have my knife. You can definitely use a paring knife here as well. So what we're looking for is as we insert the knife into the broccoli, it should come out fairly easily. I'm feeling a little resistance now, so we're going to go just a little bit longer. So other types of couscous, there's an Israeli couscous, which is a little bit bigger and typically takes obviously a little bit longer to cook as well. But this is probably the most common type of couscous that you'll see. All right, test that again. So typically your ratio for couscous to water is going to be about 4 parts water and 3 parts couscous. So in this case we had 2 cups of water. We might add just a little bit more in to take account for the evaporation, and then we have 1.5 cups of couscous. So we're just about ready with the broccoli being done. So I just a little bit more water. So since we're just about ready to add the couscous in, we'll go ahead and season lightly now. Now remember, always season in stages. You can always add more later on. We'll taste at the end to make sure we're at the right flavor. So go ahead and have our nice simmering. Add in the couscous. And really all we have to do here is just lightly stir it in. So you see it's kind of liquidy now. All right, so we'll go ahead and add the scallions in as well. Toss those in slightly. They really don't need to cook much. And then we'll cover and let sit for 5 minutes. So we've let that sit for about 5 minutes, and you'll notice that all the liquid has been absorbed. So you can just stir in just a little bit more. Oh, it smells great. So we'll taste it, see how our seasoning is. Make sure you can get a little bit of the broccoli, a little bit of the raisins, and some of the scallions as well, just to balance everything out. A little bit more salt, just a little more pepper, and I think we should be good. All right, so that's it. That's our final product with couscous with raisin and vegetables. And you can add any kind of vegetables to this, just whatever you have and whatever's in season.